there, ghosts and ghouls, Warlock Boo here, and I know it's not Halloween, but I got a very Halloweeny show for y'all. That viewers that like my kind of humor, my kind of spookiness, will really enjoy. I'm reviewing the anime Soul Eater. Now, Soul Eater began its life, as most animes do, as a manga. It was written by, I may butcher this name, Atoshi Akuba, published by Square Enix. So you can't flag me, I mentioned y'all. And the anime itself was directed by, again, may butcher this, Takuya Igarashi. And it had a bunch of producers I'm not going to go into. Now, and it was by the Studio Bones. Just so you know, and dubbed by Funimation. Because I don't want to get flagged for not mentioning this. Because they will, and always do. Now, I'm focusing on the anime more than the manga, but I will draw a little bit of information from the manga. Now, you may ask, why am I talking about Soul Eater? It's been out a while, but I've heard a lot of people don't know what it is. Well, why am I interested in it? Because this was the first anime I watched with subtitles. I don't like subtitle anime. Complain all you want in my comments down below, but I prefer hearing the English dub. I have to move around. I gotta do things, so it's easier when I can hear it in English and have to look at subtitles. I have kids, so it's just easier when I have to chase them, but can still hear the show. But this was one of the first animes I watched subbed. It just drew my attention that much. Now, the first thing you notice when you watch Soul Eater is the world. The world almost looks like Halloween Town, or Halloween Town inspiration from Nightmare Before Christmas. You got a weird, creepy laughing sun, a moon that's dripping blood out of its mouth as it laughs. You got big, giant candles on the side of the castle with Grim Reaper's face on it. The whole world is so big. It's so just over the top in every way. And it's gorgeous. I mean, they use a nice mixture of a bunch of different animation. You got some of the CGI 3D techniques. You got some of the more drawn-out styles. And it's all just mixed together very nicely. And I love when they can put it together. And it makes this world feel fully unique. And it's gorgeous. The movements, characters look different. It's just nice to see. Now, the characters of the show are quite interesting. First, I should mention the story. The story of the show is there is a group called the Soul Eaters and the Meesters. The Masters, the Meesters. I see it as Meesters. That's what it looked like it was said in the original Japanese. The Meesters' job is every one of them is partnered up with a weapon of some sort. Now, the weapons aren't just like swords and shields and stuff. No, they are living human beings that can turn into a weapon for the Meester to use. And what they do together is they have to stop people that have turned into demons or a Kaishin egg, and I may butcher the names of these, and eat the soul before they become a full-fledged demon. What they have to do then is eat 99 Kaishin souls and 1 witch soul to become a Soul Eater weapon, a Grim weapon, a weapon that only the Grim Reaper can then wield. And as it goes, you really see a lot of the witches, you see a lot of the peoples, the weapons, the Meesters, this world, and it is so interesting. For instance, a lot of the demons are actually kind of terrifying. They just hit that uncanny valley where they look human, but they don't. Like the first one you run into is Jack the Ripper. He's wearing this weird mask that almost with a big nose, and he has these blades, but the rest of him is naked, and he's sitting over there after he's just killed a woman and eating her soul, which are these little glowy, floaty things, and apparently have no flavor and are very chewy, according to someone. And he's just eating it, and the first scene you get with the two main characters, whose names are Maka, the Weapon Meester, or Scythe Master, and Soul Eater, yeah, his name's not creative, who is her scythe. And the fight scene that they show between those are just so gorgeous. The movements are so fluid. Everything, every shot has a different movement of how they're moving and battling and deflecting and slicing, and it just looks so good. Now, the characters, as I said, are quite interesting. You have your two, Maka and Soul, who are roughly the two main characters. The first 3 episodes of this really focus on each of the different main characters, because there are 3, eventually 4, main sets of teams. The first one is, as I said, Soul and Maka. Soul is a very laid-back, very calm-headed person. He doesn't look fully human. He has a mouthful of sharp teeth, jet white hair, but he's always very relaxed, very calm. Can be a little hot-headed, but nothing that's as much as usual characters in this part. Then you have Maka. Maka's a blonde girl, about 14, I think, who does have issues that she hasn't quite grown into her body like others. Let me just say that. And she is a little more hot-headed, a little more aggressive, let's say, but she's very intelligent, very smart, and a great fighter. And her and Soul work together perfectly. They trust each other unconditionally, and they would not let anything happen to the other one, no matter what. They have put their life on the line, and that's nice. One thing I like about these two as the main character, they're not learning to trust each other. No, they do trust each other. They've already done all that. They've been together since they were kids. So they really understand each other. They understand how they work. They understand when something's wrong with the other. And I like that. It's a very unusual dynamic that we usually don't get to see and stuff, but it's so much more enjoyable to see. After that, you got your second team, which is Black Star and Tsubaki. Now, Black Star is a ninja. He has a soul power that is more powerful than most people, but he is so rambunctious, so over the top, and so hot-headed, it doesn't help him. And you have Tsubaki, who's a nice, calm, sweet girl. Basically, they're Naruto and Hinata, except Tsubaki has bigger boobs. And she can turn into a majority of different weapons, different things. A ninja star, a small sword, chain scythe, things like that. And her relaxed, calm, quiet, nervous persona works great with Black Star because as a master, he forces his soul energy into his weapon. With Tsubaki being so calm, makes it easier for him to do without as much resistance. And you really get some nice looks. You get to see Black Star start struggling with, am I as good as I think? Should I really do this? I need to be stronger to wield Tsubaki, because he realizes Tsubaki is strong, and she goes into character arc when she meets her brother, who has been passed down the demon form of the weapon and has just gone evil with it instead of that, and her getting that ability and trying to control herself and have Black Star try and control her too. The last group is Kid Death. Yeah, the names are creative in this. And his 2 partners, who I cannot remember the life of me. But yes, I did say 2 partners. They are the Thompson sisters. I remember their last name. I don't remember their first one. I think it's Eliza or Elizabeth or something like that. Now, Kid Death is the son of the Grim Reaper, or Death Jr., as they always call him. He has black hair with 2 white lines. And he is obsessed with symmetry. Everything has to be symmetrical. Everything has to be perfect. And it drives him crazy. That's why he has 2 weapons. Because he couldn't deal with just holding a sword. No, he'd have to have 2 perfect copies of that sword. And the Thompson sisters work out perfectly. They become 2 pistols for him, which are perfectly make him symmetrical, except for the 2 streaks in his hair. And them working with him, they are the reason he has survived so long. He's not weak. He is actually very powerful. But he is so messed up in his head because if he sees something not symmetrical, he panics. He has a breakdown. He freaks out. And the 2 sisters work good with him. You have the oldest, the taller one, who is much more, she acts like the mother almost, a little more stressed, a little more nervous, easily scared, but she's more of the mother that keeps him calm, that keeps him more grounded. Then you have the younger sister who's very hyperactive, very hyper childlike, but can flip on the turn of a dime to get him to listen when the older one may not be able to, with just a strict insult. It is such a random, weird combo, but they play off each other so nicely. Now, as the story goes along, they learn one of their professors died. He comes back as a zombie, so don't worry, he doesn't stay dead long, and teaches them again. But they do get a new teacher named Stein, Professor Stein, or Frank Stein. Frankenstein. He's covered in stitches with a giant bolt screw on the side of his neck. He's obsessed with dissecting the things, seeing how things work, cutting them apart. And he used to be the partner of Maka's father. Maka's father is a weapon. He is a spirit. And he is actually one of the Grim Reaper's weapons now. Now, Maka's father and mother have had a divorce because Maka's father kind of cheated on her a dozen times. Which you may show him as a jerk, but they don't. They show he did regret doing that. He did not like it. He's a playboy. He's kind of notices women easier. But at the same time, he loves his daughter. He adores his daughter and goes out of his way so much to just be with his daughter and show her that. But she is angry at him for cheating on her mother, like she should be. But at times, she just ignores him when he really does show that he cares. He goes out of his way to show it. To a bit of an annoyance. But it is an unusual thing to show in this. That just because this happened doesn't mean he doesn't love his daughter. He does. You never do see her mother. You hear about him, but you never do. In the manga, I've heard you do, but again, they ended the anime much shorter than they did the manga. I wish they had gone like the manga because it sounded like it got really good. And after that, you meet a bunch of new characters. You meet the witches, are very interesting. Each witch has an animal. And they have their own weird little religion. And each one is like an animal witch. The main enemy is Medusa, the snake witch, who can make these arrows that make you go that direction and create snakes and stuff. It's really weird. And her goal to use this weird black blood to awaken the first Shinigami. No, the first demon lord. He used to be one of the Grim Reaper's best meisters. But he eventually just went crazy, ate his own weapon, turned into a demon. So, what did the Grim Reaper do? Cut off all his skin, turn it into a bag, and seal him in it. Says, yeah, that seems normal. Now, and her son, or daughter, or something, you can never tell. It's one of those characters you're never fully sure about. They say son, but then other times they say daughter. But it has black, the name is Krona, and he has black blood. In fact, his weapon is the black blood. It comes out of his back as a monster. And it bullies the hell out of Krona. Krona is this nervous little character until he fights where he goes completely ballistic and uses a sword named Ragnarok. Ragnarok is an ass, a bully, and just an all-around jerk who bullies Krona to get what he wants. But at the same time, gets incredibly angry if anyone else hurts Krona, because that is his. You do not hurt Krona. Krona is, according to him, kind of his brother. So it's a weird dynamic with those two. You get to see others like the Frog Witch, the Mouse Witch, the Cat Witch, which you have to kill the Cat Witch 9 times to get to its witch's soul because the other 9 are cat souls, which is hilarious. And the whole world is just weirdly funny. Like the Grim Reaper, as I mentioned earlier, he cut a guy's skin off and turned it into a bag to seal him away. But when you meet the Grim Reaper, you're like, he did this? He's this big, goofy cartoon character. Big hands, goofy acting, all funny and silly. But then when you find out why he acts like that, it's hilarious. He acts like that because he wanted to start a school, but kids were too afraid of him, so he had to be goofier. And when he goes from that goofy voice to the I'm gonna kill you now voice, it's amazing. I mean, his soul is so big, it engulfs the whole city, and he can't leave it because of it. It's just brilliant. The story is generally entertaining. The characters are fun. The jokes hit, and there is plenty of fan service for people that want that. It's just so good. The action is where it really kicks off. The fluid movements, the using weapons in interesting ways, and just because they have the same weapon doesn't mean they use it the same way. Then you even get weapons that don't have partners fighting without partners. Like they got this one guy who's like this priest obsessed that Grim Reaper's a god, and he's like fighting without a partner, and you never see what he is. You got this one guy who's a chainsaw. I mean, he's a fucking chainsaw, and he's fighting without a master to fight. I mean, it's so cool and so unique. The only problem with it is where it ends. The ending of this series is not that good. It does a cutoff point, and the way they beat one of the main bad guys is just horrible. It's so stupid. It just doesn't match the rest of the show. I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to ruin it if you do decide to watch this. But it's not that good. I've heard the manga goes further. It introduces more characters. And they start to do that in the anime, but you never get to know them before the ending. And it's a disappointment. I really wish they'd do an OVA where they can really show more of this. After that, you do get... The last thing I want to talk about is the music. The music is great. They use a mixture of hip-hop, of punk rock, and of blues and jazz. They just kind of flip it in. Like the beginning song is so catchy. I have it on my phone, and I don't usually keep theme songs on there. The end songs are awesome. And then you get the jazz they play and the piano music. It all just comes together so well. And I want to talk that it's just so good. And it's actual, you can find music videos, not AMVs or anything. No, the bands actually put music videos out of this. And apparently they were big hits in Japan because of that. But it's just a good show. And I give it my full suggestion. If you like spooky, and you like goofy, and you like action, you are going to love this. Now, I don't usually do these anime reviews because I get flagged quite easily from it. But I'm doing this one. And I'm hoping in the near future, I'm going to be doing The Gray Man. Something like that. It's a weird one. Another one that I did watch subtitles, which makes an all of 2 I've watched subtitles. But the last thing I do want to mention is the dubbing. The dubbing isn't quite as good. It feels in some parts like they didn't try to get good voices, or the actors didn't try as hard. Not to say everyone's like that. Some of them give great performances. Soul matches perfect. Maka matches perfect. Characters like that just match, but then you get some others and they just feel forced. They just feel bored. Like when you get to Stein's dubbed, he just feels so bored. He doesn't feel like he has the quite same insanity as the Japanese one. And it's one of the more downsides on the dubbed of this, but I do suggest it dubbed just because it's easier to watch. But yes, I do suggest this, and if you want to comment down below on anything you want me to review, anime, cartoon, webcomic, comic book I'll try and get a hold of, tell me. Every Tuesday I try to do a horror story, and Thursday I may have something out this Thursday. I have to see how everything goes. But tell me down below what you think, and if you like this, hit that like button and subscribe to me. As I said, I do these at least once a week, or try to. And with it being after New Year's, or right on the New Year, I'm going to be doing more of these, because, like I said, October to December is my slow months. But after that, I will pick right back up. And since it's about to be the new year, I should be doing fine with this next set. But until then, this has been Warlock Pooh, hoping to be spoken y'all later. Bye.